Today is all about cake. Yellow cake with vanilla frosting. This is my favorite cake, and if you love vanilla cake too, you're not going to want to miss this recipe. This is my go-to yellow cake recipe. I love making it with as 9-inch rounds, but you can also use 8-inch rounds. You can make it as a sheet cake, and you can even make it as 24 perfect cupcakes. This is going to be your go-to cake recipe. Never use a box mix again once you learn how to make the perfect yellow cake. For more delicious desserts and easy recipes, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Now let's get in the kitchen.
Start by whisking 2½ cups of flour with 3 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Set aside the dry ingredients while we mix the wet ingredients. Start with 1 cup of melted butter. Add 1½ cups of granulated sugar and mix until combined. I love using melted butter because I feel like it keeps the cake moister than if it was just with softened butter. Then mix in 4 large eggs one at a time. I like to start with my eggs cracked in a bowl just to make sure that I don't get any shells in the mixture. Add them one at a time and incorporate each one separately. Then you're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Mix that together until it's smooth. And then you're going to add the dry ingredients along with 1¼ cups of buttermilk in 3 separate additions. Now, if you don't have buttermilk, you can make your own by adding 1 teaspoon of vinegar or lemon juice to 1¼ cups of milk. Mix in between each addition of the flour mixture and buttermilk. And after the last addition, mix it until it's just combined. This recipe also works with non-dairy milk, like almond milk or soy milk. Just make sure that you add a teaspoon of vinegar or lemon juice to the batter. Mix that until it's just combined, and then you're going to pour it into your prepared cake pans. I flour and butter the cake pans and put parchment on the bottom for easy release. Evenly distribute the cake between the pans.
Go ahead and bake the cake rounds until a toothpick comes out clean, and then let them cool completely before frosting. Now let's make my vanilla buttercream frosting. This is my favorite go-to vanilla frosting recipe. It's super simple, super easy, and the addition of heavy whipping cream makes it nice and fluffy.
Start by adding 1 cup of unsalted butter to a mixer. Make sure that it's softened. I like to mix it a little bit to smooth it out before adding the powdered sugar. Then you're going to add 4 cups of powdered sugar, but add them about 1 cup at a time, mixing between each. That way you don't end up wearing all of the powdered sugar. If you're using a stand mixer, this is going to mix in pretty easily. If you're using a hand mixer, it may stay a bit crumbly. Make sure and scrape the bottom of the bowl, especially with stand mixers, the powdered sugar can gather down at the bottom. Keep adding the powdered sugar until you've added it all and mixed it all in. Then add 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, mix that together, and then you're going to add my secret ingredient, heavy whipping cream. You're going to use between 2 and 3 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. Start with 2, mix it together at high speed, and then add up to another tablespoon depending on the consistency that you need.
I love making this cake ahead of time. You can freeze the layers. You can even make the frosting the day before. I love doing that, just putting it in the refrigerator overnight and then letting it come to room temperature before I try and frost my cake. Now these cake layers are crazily enough pretty level, so I'm just going to make my cake. But if your layers need leveling, just use a serrated knife to make them nice and level and even. Now place one of your layers of cake on the cake plate, and I'm gonna fill it with the vanilla frosting, but it would be amazing to fill this with some jam or some lemon curd. You could even make a chocolate frosting or use some fresh berries or whipped cream, anything that you like to fill the cake with. But today we're just gonna go simple and make vanilla.
Once you have the filling in the cake, add the top layer. And then I like to add a hefty dose of frosting on the top to get it nice and covered. When I'm frosting the sides of the cake, I like to add a thick layer of frosting with a spatula, and then I use my offset spatula to spread it. Just continue until the cake is frosted.
Once the cake is coated in frosting, it's time for sprinkles. You could also put the rest of your frosting in a piping bag fitted with a 1M tip or one of your other favorite ones, pipe some rosettes. You can also tint this frosting. It's really, really versatile. And that's it, we have our cake. It is a 9-inch round, so it's a little bit shorter than if you were to use 3 8-inch rounds, but it's delicious nonetheless. It is sweet, and you can smell that frosting and the butter flavor. I can't wait to slice and taste it. Let's cut a slice and taste this cake. They're perfect together, the vanilla frosting and the cake. Perfect sweetness paired together. The cake is nice and buttery, and that frosting is nice and sweet. That heavy whipping cream makes it nice and fluffy. This is absolutely my favorite cake. I love chocolate, but this one, I just love it. It's my favorite cake ever, and I know you're gonna love it too. Keep watching for more videos. I'm gonna go enjoy some more of this amazing cake.